everybody. Welcome back to Monday live streams, as they should be, with me yakking your ears off. I am almost 100% back to normal, so I'm going to talk a little bit and then not talk a little bit today, just to kind of keep things on an even keel. I'm going to finish sewing down my appliques, I hope, and I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of vine creeping up one of my birdhouses today. Mr. InStitches is in the house.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you so much, sweetie, for handling the show last week while I had zero voice.
It was very stressful.
It's a lot of work.
I was very nervous about the whole thing. You're welcome. We had a super chat from Lynette before we got started.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Lynette. Let's see if I can see it here. Oh, I see it. Happy Monday, says Lynette. Happy Monday indeed. And I hope all of you are having a happy Monday as well. It is beautiful day here. It didn't start out so great, but it's turned into one. So, and I don't just mean it's because we all get to sit down and craft together. Before I get into today's stitchery, I have a little sneak peek. We have our Friday video this week will be our Granny Square for our Granny's Magical Cupboard Calendar Blanket. So apologies for last week. I didn't have a voice for about a week and I've been under the weather for a couple weeks, so it delayed our video. So that will be this Friday, but we have an extra video for you this Wednesday as a little kind of, I beg your pardon. And we are basically trying to wrap up this garden wall hanging project. So we have the how to hang wall hanging video coming this Wednesday. Here's a little sneak peek. I've got it on my doweling. Now I haven't lined the back of it yet. That is going to be coming in another video, but that video is coming this week. And as a little sort of extra special sneaky peeky, we've got a bargain pattern. So a one-page easy to print pattern on how to make these little tabs, how to vary them in size, how to address them, attach them to wall hangings. They can be added to wall hangings, curtains, hanging pocket organizers, to knit or crochet projects. So the whole little pattern is written up. It's in our Etsy shop today, and it's our sneaky sale, and it's extra super sneaky because it's basically a sneak peek at this Wednesday's video. So if you'd like to pick that up, please and thank you. You'll see the link up at the top of the live chat there. I think Mr. InStitches included it. And like I said, this will explain sort of how to do this. So if you are moving along and you want to get your wall hanging up on the wall, that is a pattern that goes with our Wednesday tutorial this week. But it, if you're comfortable following patterns, and it's pretty simple, then you can get a head start on that. Goodness gracious, Joanne, thank you. Thank you so much. So that is up in the shop today, and that little tutorial will be coming this Wednesday. In the meantime, let's stitch. Oh my gosh, we've got all sorts of activity happening in the chat. Golly gee. Jojo's been a member for 14 months. Jojo, hello, with a membership milestone, says, glad you're feeling better. We all missed your beautiful voice. Squeak, squeak. Thank you, Jojo. I appreciate that. Kimberly Zed, a member for 26 months. Thank you. Says, good morning and happy Monday. Good morning and happy Monday to you too, Kimberly. And she also zipped in with a super sticker. Thank you so much. I will take that hot cuppa. I have a cup of lemon ginger tea here to keep soothing those vocal cords. Don't mind if I do. All right, guys, let's go. So I've got my scissors, my crochet hook, and my needle here. I'm going to put them all to the side for a second. I just safety pinned into place my final big appliques. You've heard me probably say this before. You can always sort of pin things into place. Because I was sort of tossing this around on the craft table a lot this week while I was filming and working on the tabs, I didn't want anything to go too far amiss, so I just pinned them with a safety pin, just one, in place, and that really helped kind of keep things from shuffling around. I also have these little guys up here pinned. I don't know if you can see those. Those are my two little flowers that I've got on my birdhouse, which is where I want to add some vine. So I'm going to start with that today. It's just a little kind of extra. Mr. InStitches with the ding, ding, and I sing, sing. Hi, Vima. Vima's been a member for 44 months. Thank you so much, Vima. Vima says, so happy to hear your dear voice, dear. Love you always. Thank you, Vima. Like I said, I'm going to take it easy. I won't be chirping too much at you today because I do want to make sure I have some voice to chide Mr. InStitches with later this afternoon.
Oh, man.
He got away with it for 5 whole days. He didn't have to hear me.
5 to 10 days of peace and quiet.
Hi, Carol. Carol G in the house. Thanks for picking up a pattern, Carol. Goodness gracious. Okay, let's go for it. So I am going to wrap some yarn by using some chain stitches. This is optional, but I thought it looked so cute in theory that I wanted to add a little bit of climbing vine. We talked about this quite a while ago. So I'm just going to do that. And because I'm going to be backing, putting a fabric backer onto the back of this wall hanging, I'm not terribly concerned about stitching showing through to the back. So I am going to do a little bit of fancy stitchery. I've created a slip stitch. I'm taking it off my hook because I'm going to start my crocheting back here. I'm just going to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Nico! Nico's in the house! Our gifting ninja, Nico. Hi, Nico. Back on the good old USA soil with a gifted membership. Thank you so much, Nico. And congratulations to Maeve, who has won it. Golly gee. It is so great to be back in feeling somewhat normal with the family. I'm going to take this loop, stick my hook through, all the way through to the back. I'm going to grab the loop back here. It's a slightly longer loop than I normally use. Pulling it back, and I'm just going to start surface chaining. So I'm going to stick my hook back through. I'm keeping my working yarn on the back. So I grab it on the back, pull it up through, try not to split it. So it gets easier after a couple. And then I start just reaching through, reaching through with my hook, grabbing the yarn, hooking it with my fingers back here, and I'm surface chaining. Now I want it to look like it's going around and around and around. So I'm going to go on an angle, 1, 2, 3 chains, I suppose. Meg, thank you so much for picking up a pattern. And after I've sort of covered from one edge across to the other edge of the pole, I'm going to take my hook, reach in from behind, pull that loop down. Back here, I'm just going to give it a little loose chain, just one, kind of to reach across to the other side. Pull up on that loop just so it's big and it doesn't go anywhere. Decide where I want it to continue, maybe about here. Reach back through from front to back on the other side of my pole. Grab that loop, tighten it up, not too tight. Pull it back out and continue. So reach through. Grab my yarn, little surface chain in. There we go. About 3 looks like kind of works. And I'm going to do this kind of all the way around. So I do about 3. Once I get to the other side, doesn't matter how many, you can do big loose slip stitches or small tight ones. I'm going to pull that back down, look over here, give myself another little slip stitch, pull up on that loop so it doesn't want to go anywhere. Reassess, don't want it to be too tight. Goodness me, Linda, thank you so much for picking up a pattern. Thank you guys, we really appreciate it. I don't want to be too tight, so I'm going to just pull back on this a little bit because I don't want to warp anything. Reach over here, grab that working loop. Make sure it's not too tight. Don't need it to be tight. Also, don't really care that it's like, I don't really need to worry about seeing any of the stitching back here, as neat as it is, because I'm going to be covering it with fabric backing. Like I said, that's a video coming at a slightly later date. Gonna get these out of the way. And continue. I'm just going to do this all the way up until I basically run out of room for crocheting the little vine up the pole. And 1, 2, 3, maybe I'll do 4 little chains this time. There we go. Vines aren't particularly even, they kind of do their own thing. once I get to the other side, take my hook out, insert it from the other side, grab that working loop and pull it to the back. I keep my little sewing tails out of the way, pull up on that loop, and then I'm going to continue right about here. Again, I'm trying very hard not to be too tight. I want to be kind of loose-ish. I don't want to risk pulling any of my wall hanging stitches or existing applique stitches out of alignment. And I'm constantly making sure that I'm not grabbing any of my little sewing tails that I've got just sort of tucked to the back for now. There we go. That's interesting. Why are you so tight? There we go. And over here. And it looks like I might get one or two more in up here. Tug that back down. There we go. And maybe about here, I'll bring it back out. Good. I might have this actually just sort of anchor at the bottom of my little birdhouse. There we go. And once I'm finished, I just insert my hook from back to front all the way through the wall hanging, and in this case up through a little bit of an applique, tug that loop to the back, and I'm going to snip a bit of a tail here. I'm going to just chain one and then fasten off. And just to keep everything kind of from wanting to unwind on me, let me just get that one out of the way. Don't want to catch that. I'm just gonna, not that this matters, again, because I'm gonna be covering it with fabric, but this will also kind of help keep a little bit of tension on the bottom knot and a little bit on the top knot. Crocus Connections, hello my dear. Membership milestone. Crocus has been a member for 17 months. Thank you so much. Says Jayda, you make my Mondays. Grateful for you. Thank you. You guys make our Mondays. Mondays are so much more fun now that we're all hanging out like this. Goodness gracious. Mr. InStitches, I think you're enjoying that bell a little too much.
I love my new bell.
It is Ronald and Kathy in the house. Hello, cousins. Ronald and Kathy say, hey, sweetie, hope you are feeling okay. I am much better, thank you. It's so wonderful to hear both of you today. The Mondays we spend with you are like holidays. Love you, cousins, and your wall hanging. It's magical. Love always, Kathy and Ron. Thank you guys so much. What a generous super chat. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, and even Lorraine's here. Hey, Lorraine. Lorraine from Down Under. Member for 43 months. Thank you, Lorraine. Says, I caught another live. Hooray. Love being part of the InStitches family. Jayda and Mr. InStitches, thank you for all you do. Much love and appreciation. Kiss, kiss, kiss. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. A little sip of tea. Keep the vocal cords going. Thank you guys so much. It is so nice to be back and to feel somewhat normal. To be hanging out with everybody, it is a real relief. You guys are so generous and sweet. Thank you so much. All right, let's get stitching. I'm going to get my hook, yarn, and scissors out of the way. I just need my sewing needle now. Now that I've got a little bit of cute vine kind of running up there, I'm going to plunk my little flowers somewhere along the vine. And I'm only using the brown sewing yarn like I did with the other two that I stitched down beneath. So I kind of like that one there. So I'm just going to continue using the top facing loops of the blanket because it's faster, I feel, and it also is just a little bit neater. I hear the ding Ding ding, and Jayda sings. Hello, Regina. Regina Marie, a member for 5 months. Thank you so much. With a membership milestone, says, love hearing your voice again. Really? Are you guys sure? Thank you. Can't wait for July Square.
Be honest, everyone. Be honest about the voice thing.
You are a ray of sunshine. Thank you so much. Oh, and thank you, Mr. InStitches too. Yes. Can't forget the Mr. We wouldn't be here without him either. Yes, the July Square will be this Friday. Once again, a small delay due to a small case of laryngitis.
Voice issues.
But we are back in the saddle, as it were. And yes, that was a Calgary Stampede reference.
Back on the megaphone. Jayda's back on the megaphone.
I am back with a vengeance. All right, just got a little tail I'm gonna just sort of take care of here. Weave that little guy in. And I'm going to make a small knot right here on the edge underneath the petals. One little knot. I'm going to weave in a little bit of this tail underneath the middle stitches, just because I like the way it kind of makes the middle stitches of the flower sit up a little bit. It gives it just a little bit of a three-dimensional thing. Plus it gives me a place to kind of weave the tail in a little bit before I trim it. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the second flower on the other side of my little birdhouse post. All right. So I'm going to just give this a little trim. Snip. That's one. Moving right along. This little one I'm going to put just a little bit further down. Right about here. I kind of like to be able to see the vine since I've added it. I think it looks really cute. So I'm going to put this one just to the side over here. And grabbing loops of the needle, or I should say of the wall hanging, just directly below roughly where my needle's going to come out. And then back up. And I'm only going through the middle of the flower, so my little tiny petals kind of float freely in the wind. This is really quick and dirty, as they say. Not needing or bothering to go crochet or to single crochet, I should say to sew around each of the little petals. They're so small it doesn't really matter. All right, that's number 2 down. Give that a little tie. All right. Bring this back up and weave it underneath some of the stitches. There we go. Trim that, and that is the birdhouse area complete. Gosh, I just that's cute. That is cute. I like that. Little flowers kind of growing up the side of my little one birdhouse. I've got a vine up one birdhouse. A lovely cup of tea. All right, here we go. Moving right along, I'm going to go back to working right to left. So I've already stitched down these 2 little flowers, and I've got this guy who I also want to overlay a little bit. We talked sort of last week about being able to see his head. So I'm going to have him kind of facing down so he's kind of like crawling onto this big flower, which means that I have to have the flower down before I stitch him down. So working right to left, I want to sew him down, but this requires stitching first before this one. Fine. Just double check that this doesn't overlap. This red one is going to sit on top of these 2 pink ones. So I have to have this one and this one sewn down before I can have this sewn down. So logically, this will be my next piece, this big pink one. So I'm going to take my safety pin out of that. And I will take my sewing yarn. Whoops, dropped my needle. Better get that before I step on it or lose it completely. Come here, you. Lucy! Hello, Lucy. Lucy is in the house with a gifted membership. Thank you so much, Lucy. And congratulations to Jane, who has won it. Also, Sherry zipped in there before Lucy. Hi, Sherry. Sherry's been a member for 40 months. Thank you, Sherry. With a membership milestone, says, glad you're better. Mondays are no fun without you. Thank you very much. It is nice to be better. It is no fun trying to speak and only having a squeak come out. Not fun at all. Okay, so I'm going to keep all these little sewing tails out of the way. Let's sew down this really big flower. I'm going to pull him back, him back. I want a little bit of this flower to kind of overlap the bottom, and I want it underneath these. So here we go. I am going to sew around the outer edge of this flower, but I'm not going to do every single stitch. I think I can get away with doing kind of every other stitch, and more importantly, because this has pointed little petals, I want to really focus on getting the top points of the petals stitched down into place, because that will let me keep them nice and sharp looking. So let's make sure that there we go. And I'll do this. So I'm going to do one stitch in the middle of the side of the petal, the stitch at the bottom kind of inside corner, and the top peak. And I think that will be enough to kind of keep it in place. Plus it will sort of speed up the sewing time, which is kind of nice. So I want this one. This one overlaps my sort of the bottom of one of my elves or my garden gnomes. Hello, Dizzy D. Dizzy D has been a member for 18 months. Thank you, Dizzy. Dizzy with a membership milestone says, gargle with salt water to help the throat. This Friday is a milestone for being married a decade. Hey, congratulations. That deserves a ding ding, Mr. InStitches.
10 years of patience.
10 years of patience.
Well done, Dizzy D.
That's what it's all about. And Bethany. Hello, Bethany. Bethany's been a member for 64 months. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Bethany. Bethany says, good morning. So glad to see you are feeling better. My little girl might be a future yarn lover. Oh, good show. She, to watch the show with me while playing with her toys. She loves to giggle with Jayda. Well, that is great. A new yarny coming up in the family is fantastic, but the giggling is the best part.
I also enjoy giggling with Jayda. It's one of my favorite things.
Yes, that's true. We do a lot of giggling.
Yes.
A lot. All right. I wonder if I should... Yeah, let's look.
I think we have another milestone from Nico.
Oh my...
Nico's there?
Gosh, Nico! Nico!
It is a busy Monday.
With a membership milestone. Hi, Nico. Thank you. There we go. Pull that a little snug.
Actually, Jayda does most of the giggling.
I do a lot of giggling.
I will burst out laughing once in a while.
You laugh a lot.
If Jayda nails a joke.
Which is constantly.
Once in a while, which is rare.
Constantly.
I'm the comedian around here. I hold that trophy.
Lucy! Lucy also with a membership milestone. Thank you, Lucy. Lucy's been a member for 15 months. Says, glad you're feeling better, Jayda. Well, thank you very much, Lucy. Thank you, everybody. I'm just really grateful for the all the patience you've extended us while I've been recovering. I don't like to miss a video, but it could not be helped, I'm afraid, this time round. We briefly contemplated doing it silently, and then I thought, no.
If it was black and white, it would have been fine.
Yes. It
Black and white, silent crochet tutorial. Let's do it.
Yes, like an old-fashioned film. All right.
Sending a poll your way.
Okay.
This one's it's extremely important poll here.
This petal overhangs the bottom, so I'm just going to grab a piece of the border and then a piece of the underside of the petal. Do you miss the music from last week? No, 47%. Yes, 28%. Yes, a little. 24%. That was kind of fun. I know that was not what we normally do, but I thought that was kind of neat. Mr. InStitches spinning some music while we crocheted.
Spinning the tracks.
In relative silence. So I'm just kind of anchoring the bottoms of these petals because they overlap the bottom edge of my wall hanging. I'm just anchoring them on the front facing loops of some of the stitches along the petal border. And then I'll be back to regular sewing here. I hear a ding. Joanna! Hello, Joanna. Joanna has been a member for 29 months. Thank you so much, Joanna. Joanna says, so very glad that you are feeling better and you have your voice. I am too. Thank you. It is very frustrating to not even sound like yourself. And I'm sure you guys can imagine I am a big chatter, so whenever I want to open my mouth and say something or comment on something and I can't, it is most frustrating.
Of course she would anyway.
I tried. I did try quite a lot.
There was always effort put in, that's for sure.
All right. This is laying down nicely. Oh my goodness. Bethany, thank you. Thank you for picking up today's sneaky sale. Which reminds me, if you're just joining us, this Wednesday, we will have a video tutorial for you on how to hang our garden wall hangings. We've got the tabs made. It looks like this. Nice and cute, nice and simple, and we have a written pattern for that on how to make the tabs any size you want, how to add as many as you like or as few as you like, and just sort of some helpful tips for how to attach them to the tops of curtains or wall hangings or whatever, whether or not you are putting on a fancy border or a regular border or no border at all. And that is today's sneaky sale. So thank you so much. And another ding. Tina! Hi, Tina! Tina with a super sticker. Thank you, Tina! My hero. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Thank you, Tina. And, golly gee, a membership milestone from Ronald and Kathy. Members for 36 months. Thank you so much, cousins. Let's see here. So the mister is the plucky comic relief. Love you guys.
That's me.
That's him. The plucky comic relief. Plucky, yes. As in Plucky Duck.
Plucky Duck from the
and
mini Looney Tunes?
The Tiny Toons.
Looney Babies?
The Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toon Adventures.
I loved Tiny Toons.
Me too. I can still sing the whole song too. Not that I'm going to.
Oh, we know you want to.
Yes, of course I want to.
She'll be singing it after the stream.
Excuse me.
We have a membership renewal.
Well, hello, Nancy. Welcome to Alpaca. A re-welcome to Nancy. Thank you so much. There I go. I have just stitched down this big flower. So I'm going to make a little tiny knot at the side by creating a loop and then running my needle through it. And then I will make sure it's nice and tight. Golly gee, Nico! Thank you, Nico! Thank you for picking up today's sneaky sale pattern. Very much appreciated. There we go. I'll weave that into a few neighboring stitches. Maybe I'll get a few here, just so it doesn't want to come undone on me. There we go. And I had way more sewing yarn than I needed, which is fine. I'd rather have more than not enough. And that goes into my little stash basket. Okay, I'm gonna return to this ladybug. Gonna get this little guy stitched on. So I'm gonna pull up your two tails. I kind of like he sort of floated down to sort of check out these little flowers and then saw the big flower and thought, hubba hubba, I'm taking that. Kimberly, thank you. Thank you for picking up today's sneaky sale pattern. So I'm going to just stitch in his head first. So I've got two sewing tails on my little applique here for my ladybug. And one of them is black, that is the head part, and the other one is red, that's the body part. So you can just sort of use one to stitch down one side and then the other to stitch down the other side, and that keeps the sewing colors the same so that nothing looks like it doesn't belong. And I'm just going to sew down the couple of stitches around the head. I'm going to skip underneath. Actually, I might, because I really want these to stay in place, I'm just going to do a surface stitch directly through the antenna, grab a stitch directly underneath it on the flower, and then do the same thing. I'll kind of come back up through the stitch, right through the antenna. And I'm going to do that a couple times just to have the antenna lie flat. And then I'm going to run my needle underneath the stitches on the flower back to the head of the ladybug so that you can't see my sewing yarn, and also that stays nice and flat. A ding ding. Hello, Summer. Summer's in the house. Summer's been a member for 62 months. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Summer. Summer says, making my grandma a gothic wrap in gray. Oh, how nice. Yes. Semi recently got back into reading physical books. Oh, I love physical books. And yesterday took Scarlett to the bookstore for the first time, and we spent far too much money. It is so easy to spend too much money at the bookstore.
I love going to the bookstore.
Mm-hmm. That's like a day outing for us.
Yeah. Coffee, lunch, yes. Bookstore.
Yes. I just love new books. I love the way they smell. I love the way they feel. I love the potential of all the worlds hidden in those pages. Oh my gosh, I love reading. Good choice. All right, I'm going to overlap the head of my ladybug just over top of this little tiny yellow flower as well, because this little guy is really on top of everything here. And one more little edge stitch right here. And that is the head taken care of. I'm going to make a tiny wee little knot. Make sure it's nice and tight and as small as possible. And I'm going to weave that little tail back through some of the head stitches. Nothing too fancy. And then I'm going to trim it. There we go. So that's the head done. Let's do the body now. And it's pretty straightforward. It's just all the way around. So I'm going to start right where the yarn comes out. And I'm going to get almost every stitch here, almost every stitch, because I'm working a curve and I want that curve to be, and it's sort of it's one of the top, like the most sort of like up in your face appliques. So I want it to be relatively neat and tidy and stitched down. And I want that curve to show. So I'm going to get almost every single stitch here.
Barbara asks, Jayda, who do you like to read?
Who do I like to read? I love Ellen Montgomery. I mean, not to sound too quintessentially Canadian, but I absolutely adore her. My favorite book of all time, period, is by her. It's called The Blue Castle. If you've never read it, ladies, it is like the perfect romance, in my humble opinion. I absolutely love it. It is such a beautiful, beautiful story of love. I really love that book. And I loved her Emily of New Moon series. I also liked Pat of Silverbush. And I'm kind of working, I know it sounds backwards, but I'm only just sort of started reading the Anne of Green Gables. We got so kind of overwhelmed with that in this country when we were little. There were movies, there was a TV show, there was the Rhode Avonlea series. Like we had a lot of Anne of Green Gables sort of style stuff that I never bothered getting around to reading the books. But now I'm reading the books, and as usual, the books are so much better than the television series or the movie. But I absolutely love her style of writing. I also really enjoy Jane Austen. She does a lot of the classic stuff. Was introduced to her relatively young as well. So I like Carol Shields, Margaret Atwood. Geez, I read a lot of women. I don't intend to read a lot of women. I also like Michael Crichton. I like, for just entertainment purposes. What's that guy
that does the fantasy? Yeah, you've read him a lot too.
Neil Gaiman. Absolutely love him. I also like Magic Kingdom for Sale. What's his name? Douglas Adams too, or is it Douglas Adams? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Douglas
Everything he's
Adams.
ever written was hilarious. I'll read just about anything. Just about anything. I love history. I love science. Fantasy, science fiction, I don't know, guys. I'll read it all.
Pretty much all of it.
I am not picky. I'll even read old textbooks because, I just find them so fascinating. Right now, let me grab that book. Let me show you this one. Mama InStitches got this for me. And I'm working my way through it. Where did I put that? Book. Where'd it go? I've lost the book. Well, that'll tell you. I've got to clean up this craft room. All right, never mind. I won't show you the book.
Next time.
I've got a book in here somewhere that I'm working my way through that's really good. Hello, Tammy. Tammy, member for 13 months. Thank you, Tammy. With a membership milestone. I'm glad you're here. It's the summer, so it's a good time to do some reading. If you had some kind of books you were thinking about getting to.
Have you heard of Terry Pratchett?
Terry Pratchett, that's it.
Terry Brooks.
Terry Pratchett, Magic Kingdom for Sale. My gosh, he's a prolific writer too. Or was. I believe we just lost him.
Is Terry Pratchett that guy that we have some audiobooks about?
Yes.
Kind of like fantasy?
Yes.
Okay. I think we have a bunch of audiobooks. We got to get into those.
Yes. There we go. That is my...
Is it just me, or is it easier to buy stuff than to actually use it as you get older?
Much easier to buy. That's why you've got to be organized with the goodies you get.
With your time.
Yes. There we go. Also, I tend to read books over and over again, kind of like I'll watch a favorite movie over and over again. Oh, speaking of favorite movies, I have one for you all. Who's Your Father? It's a Canadian made in PEI movie. It's called Who's Your Father? Y-E-R, Who's Your Father? And it's absolutely hilarious. It is quintessentially Canadian humor at its best. I think we've watched it like 5 times now. It's so sweet. You can rent it on, I think it's on Paramount streaming service. You can rent it on Google as well for your typical rental amount, like, I don't know, $4 or something.
$4 or $5.
And highly recommend. Super sweet, really cute. There's a couple of bad words in it, so if you've got, like earmuffs on the kids for that kind of thing, then that's something to keep in mind. But it's not in it's not nasty.
No.
All right, that's my ladybug, one of my big flowers. I have to put down the other pink flower before I get to the big red flower, and then we will be done. I am going to finish this today, darn it. So let's do it. Another couple of minutes for each flower. Oh, I should probably bring this one up here. I also want this one overlapping the edges. And here we go. Same thing. I'm only going to worry about the inside corners, one stitch along the actual side of the petal, like so. And then I'm going to do the peaks, the little pointed areas, because I want them to stay nice and sharp. There we go.
Yes, Mela got it. Mela goes, is that the movie about the PI that is investigating the sale of lobster?
Yes!
Yeah, that's the one. It's so funny.
It is really cute. It's very funny. I've watched it, like I said, I think I've watched it about 5 times now, and every time I see it, I pick up something else. It's very smart. Some Canadian filmmaking at its absolute best, in my opinion. Oh my goodness, Christine! Thank you for picking up today's sneaky sale. Now, if my petals overlap the edge, I'm just sort of grabbing whatever I can underneath, so that I kind of anchor it, but also I don't want it to sort of show. There we go. Hi, Lori. Lori's here with a membership milestone. Lori's been a member for 47 months. Goodness me. Thank you, Lori. Lori says, happy to catch you live on my day off. Ah, a day off. Don't you love it when you don't have to get up on Monday for work? I mean, well, we're happy you could catch us too. I'm glad so many of you could be here today. I'm really going to make this one pointy. Hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm way down here in the corner. Sorry, everybody. There we go. Oh my goodness. Lori, thank you. Thank you so much. There's nothing like a Monday and a sneaky sale pattern. put me in a good mood. I love little sneaky sales. I always found that, I don't know, this is a very Canadian moment, but shopping at the Bay, I don't know if anybody else has found this, but every time I feel like I would go into the Bay department store, there would always be like some kind of a gigantic sale going on. Like, 75% off men's, brand name shirts. And you're like, what? How come this wasn't televised? I'll take it. What's the biggest department store in the States? I'm not even sure. Do we still have the Bay, right? They didn't close the Bay down.
I think we still have the Bay, but they are sort of dwindling. You mean biggest as in size of store,
like
or
chain.
Biggest as in chain stores?
Like chain.
Amount of stores. Macy's maybe, says Lisa.
Yeah?
Eaton's. I think Eaton's is gone.
I think we've lost Eaton's.
It kind of got absorbed into the Bay or something else.
I think we have lost Eaton's, yeah.
Walmart, yeah. I don't think Jayda's thinking.
That's technically a department store.
I guess it is, technically. But that's an obvious one.
I guess
Kohl's, JCPenney, Nordstrom's.
I guess when I say no shade on Walmart, but I guess when I say department store, I'm thinking like a place that sells.
You're thinking of the Bay equivalent.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like nice things,
In
like
the
a department store that sells slightly more upscale stuff. Not that Walmart doesn't sell some nice things. I'm not trying to be rude.
Walmart.
Y'all know what I'm talking about.
But Walmart is the Bay, that's for sure.
Yeah, Walmart is not the Bay. Okay. One more. Guys, it's the last applique. Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, I guess the equivalent would be JCPenney and Macy's. That sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
Anchored, gigantic mall anchor stores.
Well, hello, Ms. Rabbit. Jessica Rabbit in the house, a member for 31 months. Thank you, Ms. Rabbit. With a membership milestone, says, good morning. Not much to say today. Husband and I are both sleep deprived because girls. I'm glad to hear that you are feeling better. Thank you so much. Yes, spent a couple nights with my furry nieces recently, and I was on the couch asleep while I was trying to sleep. One of them likes to sing her favorite karaoke song at about 3 o'clock in the morning for 15 minutes at a time. Not impressed. And also then we'll go have a very loud meal, like crunch, crunch. And then we'll come sit right at my head and like lick her chops and like pat me on the forehead like, well, so are you going to do something? It's like, it's 3 a.m.
How do I turn this thing on?
Can we not?
Do something interesting.
You weren't so cute.
You are really cute and I want to throw you outside at the same time.
I will toss you outside. They're so funny. Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. This flower sits up on top of everything, so I'm going to try to pay extra attention to making sure that its little pointy petals are out and sit right where I want them to. And then I'm going to get all the way around here.
There you go. Summer figured it out for us via Google. Google says it's Macy's.
It is Macy's. Okay. Thanks, Summer.
So that would be the the Bay equivalent.
That'd be the Bay equivalent. Macy's is nice, right? Like, I feel like I've seen Macy's sort of featured in the odd movie. I've never been to a Macy's. Macy's is the one that had that big parade, right? Is that still a thing? Also, haven't seen a Macy's Day Parade or a Macy's Parade. Macy's Parade? That's for Thanksgiving? This is me drawing on pop culture references.
No, that sounds about right.
Does that sound about right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. In New York City, maybe?
Yeah.
Kind of a famous parade or something?
Yeah, Thanksgiving, says Regina. Okay, yippers.
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Kind of sneaking my yarn underneath the existing flower there to anchor my stitches, so that's providing a little more kind of speed and cover here, and it's not going to show through to the back side of the wall hanging, but once again I shall say that it's okay if it does, because I'm adding a fabric backing, so not to worry. This is slightly overhanging the edge, so I'm only going to get a little bit . All right. Almost there. I can't believe how excited I am about this almost being finished. I cannot wait to get it up on the wall. I had thought it would be a spring thing. It's kind of turning into a summer thing, but who cares? I'll have this done just in time to start one for the fall.
I think we all deserve an extended summer this year.
I think so.
Winter can come, but it needs to delay itself just a little bit.
Yeah, winter's got to take a slight detour before it gets here.
Drum roll for the end of the sew down.
Almost complete.
How close are you? Is this
like
the last flower?
2 more stitches.
Oh my goodness. We need some celebratory music.
Celebratory music. Something like, I don't know, the theme from Rocky. There we go. That's the last stitch. And now a little knot. Woohoo! There we go. We'll run that under here. Hide it and weave in my tail a little bit. There we go. Ba-bow. Holy cow, that's it. All of the little bits and pieces have been sewn down. Let's take a quick little gander here. We've got our little flower pot with a daisy next to my gnome house with my giant gnome toadstool, a couple of flowers, my ladybug, a gnome, some big flowers over here, 2 more gnomes. I've got my little birdhouse village, which I was super excited about. Clonk bonk. So I've got a little ivy running up this one and a couple of flowers. A little bird, another little flower, some trumpet flowers. I've got my hummingbird up here with an equally large sized dragonfly next to it. The whole sky is busy. I've got a butterfly, I've got my little bee, some clouds, my big sun, and the whole thing is ready to hang because I've got my hangers in. Don't worry, tutorial for that is coming this Wednesday. And like I said, the pattern for how to hang with these little hangers and how to attach them, etc. It's in our Etsy shop. It's today's sneaky sale, so if you want to pick up a pattern, it's today's sneaky sale. It'll still be there on Wednesday, but today it's extra sneaky. It's extra sale-y. It's in our bargain bin too, so it's a nice simple to print 1-page pattern, and it still has some photographs in it. So there you go. That is the garden wall hanging. Holy cow. The last thing I'm going to do with it, oh, this feels so nice and chunky. I love it when you get everything stitched down. It has such a nice, like substantial feel to it. I'm going to be backing it with some fabric. I will be using your typical cotton quilt style fabric. It's that thin, light quilting fabric. If you get your fabric by the bolt, you want to probably cut, you're going to want a couple yards at least. I'm thinking 2 yards would probably be more than enough because you don't want to have to piece it. But if you're comfortable sewing and piecing and you get maybe just find the odd little pile of fat quarters at Walmart, you'll probably want about 8 fat quarters just to be on the safe side that you can stitch into a large rectangle. But I'm going to demonstrate with a solid piece. Just going to fold the ends under nice and neat and tidy, stitch them down, and then we're going to show you how to stitch it to the back of the wall hanging, and that will give it a little more strength. It'll give it a nice finish on the back. You won't see any sort of stitching or knots or anything that you may have added. You won't see any little knots that you included if you had to piece your yarn together as you went. Nothing. So that's a nice way to finish it. It gives it like a little bit of strength and it just looks a little more professional. So a video on that will be coming soon. But this wraps up our live event coverage. Sound like a sportscaster. On our garden wall hanging. This has been an absolute hoot. Thank you guys so much. We'll still be here next Monday with another live stream, but we'll be starting something completely new. And what that will be, you'll have to tune in for to see. Me and the rhymes. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, for sticking with us the last couple of weeks while I got better. This Friday is Calendar Blanket Friday. It was supposed to be last Friday. I was sick. It'll be this Friday. It'll be the July square. Whoop, whoop. I'm staring at it right now. It looks so cool. So we'll see you for that. And Wednesday, we're going to have the tutorial for you on how to hang your wall hangings if you haven't done it already. And like I said, that tutorial will be useful if you're hanging wall hangings, curtains, pocket organizers, whatever little flat crochet or knit project you might want to get up on the wall or hanging off a curtain rod. That is coming Wednesday. So a busy, happy, crafty week of summer fun ahead of us. And thank you guys so much for your support and for being here. Mr. InStitches?
I have a request.
Okay.
Could you start at the top and just slowly pan the wall hanging so we can kind of absorb it?
I'll do my best. I have a lot of stuff on this desk. All right. Here we go.
You need to move to the left just a little bit. There you go.
All right. It doesn't quite all fit in the camera.
Yeah.
We will have the whole thing. I'll take some photographs and we'll get it posted up on the community tab too. And we'll do that today. So I've got sun and clouds. And then a little bit further down, I've got the insects, butterfly, bee, dragonfly, oh, and my hummingbird. I like this so much. Got some trumpet vines up at the top of this little birdhouse, and another little flower, which my hummingbird is making good use of. I've got the little bird sanctuary, the bird subdivision of birdhouses, and
affordable housing.
Affordable housing for birds. Very affordable. Just free for tweets. You can get it for a song. Wah, wah, wah. Little forest. I had to have a little forest because I love forests. I live in one myself. And if I was a gnome, I would definitely be living in a garden like this one. I gave a little gnome house to my little gnomes. We've got a flower pot with a flower, big happy daisy. Got a nice big ladybug. I've got a family of gnomes here, 3 guys. I also have a female gnome, but I couldn't find a place to stick her, so kind of like the Smurfs, I've got mostly boys and 1 girl who's hiding. Some nice big flowers, a couple of little flowers, a toadstool.
She's out shopping.
To finish it all. Yeah, she's off shopping.
Yeah.
She's doing more. She's at the garden center.
She's at the garden center.
There we go. So, one very happy large wall hanging. We'll take some photographs of it and we will get them up in the community tab so you can see the whole thing a little bit later. But that is that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I am so glad that you guys hung out with me. Thank you so much for sending me all the photos of your wall hangings. If you've got them finished or you've made another one and you want to share it, you can send us a photo at our Etsy shop. Just click on the link. Click on message seller. Message seller is usually somewhere down around the bottom of the page. Or if you click on one of the patterns, there's usually a message seller button somewhere there. Just click on that. Or if you've got an open thread already in communication with us, you can just add a photograph by clicking on either the little camera icon or the little landscape photograph that's in the, or the landscape icon that's in the message box. And it'll let you take a picture or upload a photo. And we'd be happy to have that and share it with the community. Katie! Hello, Katie. Katie's in the house. Member for 45 months. Thank you so much, Katie. Katie says, hi, cranky pants are out today. I handled it well. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Nobody wants to feel cranky or be around a cranky person. So if you can handle your crankiness, Adulting 101, aced. I hope you're definitely feeling better now. Sometimes it helps to tell people that you're feeling cranky, and then somehow that just sort of alleviates it. It could be the heat, too. I get particularly cranky in the heat. Anyhow, everybody, have a wonderful week. We will see you Wednesday. We will see you Friday. And, of course, we will always see you in the community tab on our channel here with updates and photographs and other little tidbits. So stay tuned for more fun, and we will see you soon. Mr. InStitches, anything you want to add?
No, that's it.
All right.
Everyone have a wonderful week. We'll see you.